I think when we say we love conflict, I don't want to give the disillusion that we seek out conflict. We value what happens at the end, and we know that we're seeking the best product.
I think with our experience at Zynga, I mean, you've run massive teams at poker at high scale. I've done the same with Farmville, etc. It's given us that confidence that we know that here is where we want to reach. I remember talking to Zynga CTO, and he came to know that we're joining forces, and he was like, "Yeah, CJD is one of the best engineers Zynga's ever produced." Well, hello everyone. This is AJ. Welcome to the Game Makers Lounge. We're attempting something really, really different. Here are two engineers who are going to talk about game making live, which is never easy to do as engineers. But hey, let's see how this goes. So the idea is we're going to invite our friends, co-workers from the gaming industry to just talk about games. And so I'm AJ, your host, CEO of Snapser, and with me is my co-founder and CTO Jason Davidson, who goes by CJD. And we're really excited to talk to you folks about Snapser and let you in on some fun things that we do here. So why don't I start with telling everyone our story, CJD? So, how was Snapser formed, how it started? So Snapser was originally not Snapser. It was a name that I don't even want to make public because it's embarrassing. And I think the attempt there was, can we do something for, the backend developers making apps? And so it was about 6 months of effort. I was trying to convince someone from Netflix to be my co-founder. Who said no, and I was crushed because, as you all know, it's really hard fundraising without a co-founder. And I was desperately, I needed someone, a confidant who can take over the tech. But as so happens, the universe had some other plans, and so a common friend of me and CJD, who I was just showing my then product to, was like, "Stop talking to me, AJ, right now, and go talk to CJD because I think he's gonna like what you're about to show him." And so why don't I pass on the mic to you, CJD? What is that like?
Yeah, well, I was just working one day, and our common friend messaged me with the exact same words. He said, "Yo, you should talk to AJ.
Yeah.
I think you'll be interested." And he knew to message me this because I had been telling him prior, for months prior, that maybe I'll do my own thing soon. I've been at Zynga for 15 years,
Yeah.
grinding away at these games. And
wait, when you joined, wasn't Zynga not even called Zynga? It was called Presidio Studios or something?
Yeah, Presidio Media. I did some contracting work for them for a couple of years, right when they started. And I happened to know one of their co-founders. We played World of Warcraft together, and he tolerated my rage quitting when we had PvP. Yeah, but I knew that I was better at engineering than I was at designing games. In fact, my barometer for a good game was historically quite terrible. At Zynga, I always picked the games incorrectly. A game would come out and I would think, who would play this? And then it would turn out to be a hit. And then vice versa. My favorite games were all canceled. So I had a terrible barometer for this, but I knew how to make tooling and engineering or infrastructure and backends and such. And so I was sort of complaining to this friend of ours, saying like, I think I want to do something, but it's going to have to be in the realm of building backends because that's where I'm most comfortable. And then one day he was like, "Oh, you better talk to AJ. You guys are thinking the exact same thing, basically." Of course, it wasn't exactly the same. Your vision and my vision were a little different, but it's certainly aligned enough. And now here we are.
No, absolutely. And I remember talking to Zynga CTO, and he came to know that we're joining forces, and he was like, "Yeah, CJD is one of the best engineers Zynga's ever produced." And so it was a perfect team. I couldn't find a better co-founder, CTO, and you, CJD.
Well, you know what they say: if you can't convince them of your quality, then definitely confuse them with your BS. And I may have done a little bit of the latter. So
I doubt that. Probably a good segue towards one of the first things I remember, CJD, we both did was come up with our company values, right? We didn't have a product. We had a vision, but I think to us, the company values were really important because we wanted to set the right tone, right from the get-go. And a few things that I think we're really proud of is, transparency, 1% improvement every day, etc. But I think the other thing that we actually live by every day is that we actually love conflicts. We love debates. There have been a lot of times where we don't agree with each other, but I do believe that brings the best for the product, for the team, and for the company. And so I know for a fact I've pushed your buttons quite a bit. So probably a good time for you to get some dirt out here.
Yeah, air out our dirty laundry.
Yeah, why not?
I wouldn't say you've pushed my buttons a fair bit, but we've definitely run up against each other in the capacity of you have largely been the product vision.
Yep.
In fact, that's how it's played out. You've largely been the product vision, and I've largely
Yep.
been the pushback on the tech side, being
Yep.
like, "Hey, whoa, let's talk about reality for a second
Yeah.
here." And then we find our middle ground. And I think when we say we love conflict, I don't want to give the disillusion that we seek out conflict because it's fun.
That's
Because
yep.
In truth, there are times when I'm like, "Oh my God, really? Are we still talking about this?" But I think we value what happens at the end, and we know that we're seeking the best product. Do you know?
Yep.
So like, I've never once thought that when you and I were, and I don't even want to say arguing, we're debating. We're pushing
absolutely.
towards the same end, and I know that you're pushing because you want this product that's going to work, and you know that I'm pushing because I want this product that's going to work.
Yeah.
And we want the exact same thing. So I've never felt like we're just trying to push buttons. That's the thing. Like,
well said. And I think it's important to really understand that you're right. We're not like seekers of conflict by any means, but I think it's important to have debate, because I think very early on, or even later, these big organizations, you become a big organization and there's a confirmation bias that just sets in, and everyone just agreeing to everything, and nothing moves. And so that's something that we just wanted to avoid from day one. And I think so far we've done a good job, and hopefully this will continue down the line as well.
Yeah. And as well, I think we've done a good job at, we take these debates and we do them in our general chat so that our other engineers and employees engage as well. Now, I think at first it might have been a little startling. And by no means is this explosive stuff or anything like that. But we want everyone to know that there's input to be had here. And like, you don't have to just agree. It doesn't mean that you're going to get your way, but you should be able to say the words you want to say, and not feel like you were silenced by any means or excluded.
Absolutely.
Now, I totally understand that that's something we can do because we have a small and tight company. I certainly wouldn't want to do that at Zynga in a chat of 800 people, but
totally.
For us, easy. And I think it's definitely paid dividends just by virtue of the fact that we've taken changes based on this. And there are times when we go, okay, you know what, this isn't the hill I'm ready to die on. So like, I think that's fine. And
absolutely. I think that's also what has allowed us to, like, I think with our experience at Zynga, I mean, you've run massive teams at poker at high scale. I've done the same with Farmville, etc. It's given us that confidence that we know that here is where we want to reach. We do that in a very focused manner with all of this, what we've spoken about. And then we, kind of keep pushing our product ahead and making it better 1% every day. And so I think that's really worked out for us. I guess a good segue towards, we've obviously spoken about a company a little bit, a culture, but tech, right? That's something that we pride ourselves on. We're definitely, innovating in this gaming industry, which is set to reach like 300 billion. Talk to us about our tech, or let people know about our tech a little bit. What's our vision?
Yeah. Well, we have a big vision, of course, and I don't think we want to give away our secret sauce completely here, but we're definitely competing against some big names, and we're definitely doing it in a way they did not. And I think that is our superpower, not to get too cliche a word. But obviously, I think people know we're building backends for games, but what they don't know is how we're building them in such a way that we can index on any specific part of our infrastructure and backend, and we can also put your specific parts into our backend, which I think is novel. So we're not talking about lambdas here. You don't have to write code that's so ergonomically conforming to something that you're basically restricted. You can write your code. You can write your stuff and add it in, because obviously every game studio has their own innovation to do. And I think it's super powerful because it gives you longevity. We don't have to focus on everything like a monolith. We can focus on them individually and index here, and then as times change, we index there and interchange. So I think what's cool is we're going to give game studios chance to innovate more on their game and not worry about how to innovate or even just be effective with the live ops of the back end. That's our problem, and we know how to solve that. You and I, especially with our gaming experience at Zynga and so on. So
yeah, I mean this reminds me of our time at Zynga when and you led that effort of a successful game like Zynga Poker, which had millions of people and billions of data. You were actually able to completely revamp and change that and bring it onto a new stack without any downtime. I think that was one of the most amazing achievements I've ever seen by that poker team. And it amazes me to date because what y'all pulled off is like very, very difficult to do on a live game.
that was possibly the most fun I had
Yeah,
at Zynga since the early days of actually building out
yeah,
games in just a few days. Back when you could get away with
yeah, that was fun.
coming up with a concept and then getting it into people's hands like a week and a half later.
Yeah,
But yeah, the redoing that arc and like credit due to the folks that believed in that, because that's a pretty wild project to get greenlit.
Absolutely.
It's pretty rare that you get to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was incredible. Anyways, I think we're towards the end here. Well, let me as a wrap up ask one final question to you. I mean, you've been in the gaming business for over 15 years now, CJD. For our viewers, according to you, what are the most let's go for three important ingredients for game making?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're not necessarily ingredients, but the temperature today in game making is definitely, you can split it up into a triangle or into three main focuses, and you definitely have just the services, section of this where you have all these things that I think game makers are just expecting to exist. Yeah. And when I say, or how about this? These are just the things that game players are expecting to exist. I think they all open a game and expect there to be a leaderboards of some kind. They expect that there's going to be quests, and they're going to get notifications, and they're going to have inboxes. And so all these things,
almost table stakes now. Yeah,
exactly. They're basically table stakes, and they drive your engagement and your retention and this and that. So I think those things are one part of the trifecta that is just basically today's culture in gaming. I think the other parts are, you have your connected real-timiness of games. And these are the ones like poker, where you're sitting at a table playing with someone, having real social interaction and playing a stateful game like poker or other games. Words with Friends, you're playing on a board. You're doing these things. And then I think finally you get into the part where you get a much bigger game that requires entire servers to run. You're talking like Unreal servers running these things, and proprietary things like Blizzard does these kind of games, where you have massive connections with people and guilds of people online at once, or parties of people online at once, playing battles and working together.
We've been doing that, right? Playing Call of Duty nowadays and playing live. That's been fun.
Well, you've been playing it. I've been playing cannon fodder for the most part. I think when you talked before about pushing my buttons or like any of the conflicts, I think we get on there and you just take it all out.
Cool. So thank you, CJD. This is a wrap of our first attempt in doing this. We'll obviously keep inviting more guests from the industry and people we look up to, people you find experts in different areas, not just engineering. And so we hope you folks enjoyed this small video, and we will see you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you.